back with some more thrift store finds and Goodwill bargain bins, tons of vintage books, a whole bunch of other stuff, starting off with this H.A. Ironside's Luke. From the 30s, we have Mary Lou, A Story of Divine Corners. The Magic Carpet, which is a vintage poetry collection, poems for travelers. Jitterbug Perfume, a really pretty copy of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. The Well-Considered Garden. This is a Mrs. Frances King. This is a really cool vintage gardening book, signed by some previous owners from the turn of the century, I believe. 1915. So still really, really cool to see this. Lots of good pictures. So I love finding a lot of old vintage books. And we have Grimm's Fairy Tales. Big variety of stuff. Moving on to something very different with Drink of Me. Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass, one manga with First Love, The Orphan Witch, Air Awakens, The Trader's Son, Siren's Fury, The Charge of the Light Brigade, Frozen 2, Forest of Shadows, I Killed Zoe Spanos, which is one of those Sprayed Edges books, One Forgotten Realms, Book 3 of the Dark Elf trilogy, Monk in Outer Space, Anne Rice, Queen of the Damned. This is the movie cover version. I actually saw this movie in theaters. It wasn't amazing, but it really wasn't bad. I remember kind of liking it. It wasn't too bad as far as an adaptation goes. We have The Queen's Fool, The Court of Silver Flames, Robert Ludlum's The Bourne Supremacy, old hardcover first edition of that, The South of France Cookbook, The Darkest Part of the Forest, The Bastard of Istanbul, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, The Tempest, Agnes Grey, Angels on Assignment, a Spanish version of Don Quixote de la Mancha. Nice big stack of some various kids' books, so some I Can Read and a whole bunch of those, as well as a bunch of Disney and some Winnie and the Pooh in particular, and different variations. Like there's some older ones, some newer ones. This is a really cool copy of Walt Disney's version of Pinocchio. It's a really nice version of that. Lots of good artwork. It's a good kids book. One of the Wuzzles, a short story classics collection. Another good vintage one. I think this one's from 1905. Yes, 1905. And I really like these. These are cool. I remember actually seeing these as a kid. I'm pretty sure my grandmother had both of these. The Wonderful Worlds of Walt Disney collection. This is stories from America and stories from other lands. These are good old Disney kids storybooks. A Brer Rabbit there. And a whole stack of Sesame Street related kids books. There's a few more. Some vintage Batman trading cards, Golden Age of Comics, Astrology for Adults, a Disney movie novelization, Unidentified Flying Oddball, one that I very vaguely remember. That'll be cool one to see again someday. Some of those random Disney ones that I'd love to just kind of see one more time or experience, those movie of the week ones, or a lot of the live action in the 60s and 70s, but you never really stumble upon them anymore. For audio, we have Dirty Dancing and the Beach Boys' Surf's Up on cassette. Some Dr. Comedy Mike Williams, a couple CD seal collections of him. Lana Del Rey, Paradise. Kane Brown, Chapter 1. Alabama Christmas, Volumes 1 and 2. These Days, Sandy Patty. Some Boston Symphony Orchestra. Diana Krall. Bergen Stout. Plus One. John Rubin. Oh, here's another one of those, the Mike Williams comedy albums. Got 3 of those sealed. Merry Music to Brighten Your Holidays from the M&Ms. And the Judas Project. And then just a handful of things on the video front. Again, things have not picked up. Eventually things go in phases, but for VHS we have From Hell, Project X on Blu-ray, and a handful of DVDs with Patton, 500 Days of Summer, extended cut of Taken, Mean Girls, Safe Haven, the flashback edition of The Breakfast Club, one of my personal favorite movies, a 4-disc horror collection, Starsky and Hutch, that early 2000s movie with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, the 2-disc edition of Mulan, and Greatest Stars of Opera live in concert.